You have let the wrong people into your circle. You have shared your dreams with parasites who smiled while plotting to steal them. You have given your loyalty to those who only viewed you as a resource, a stepping stone, a temporary convenience. And because of this, you have bled. You have wasted years building castles on quicksand, wondering why they keep collapsing, blaming yourself, thinking you just haven't loved hard enough or given enough. Stop. The problem is not your effort. The problem is your selection. You have been conditioned to believe that human connection is a lottery, that love or friendship is something that just happens if you are nice enough. Robert Greene would laugh at this. He understood that in the game of power, and life is nothing but a game of power, alliances are not accidents. They are architectural necessities. If someone is truly meant for you, it does not mean the stars aligned. It means their psychology aligns with your ambition. It means their shadow dances with yours without consuming it. It means they are not just a lover or a friend. They are a force multiplier. But how do you spot them in a world full of actors, narcissists, and energy vampires? How do you distinguish between a person who wants you and a person who wants what you can do for them? Robert Greene didn't write about soulmates. He wrote about allies. He wrote about the rare few who can stand beside a powerful person without trying to take their crown. Today, we are going to strip away the romanticized lies you've been fed about connection. We are going to look at the cold, hard signs that someone is actually built to endure the weight of your life. I am going to show you how to identify the people who are psychologically wired to rise with you. But be warned, once you see these signs, you will realize how empty your current circle actually is. You might find yourself standing alone, and that is exactly where we need to begin. Most people choose their partners and friends based on vibes, based on dopamine, based on how good they feel in the moment. This is a fatal error. Feelings fluctuate, dopamine fades. If you build your life on the foundation of good vibes, you are building on water. Robert Greene argues that the strongest alliances are built on utility and respect. Now, the modern mind hates the word utility. We think it sounds cold. We think using people is bad. But look deeper. If a person adds no value to your life, no emotional stability, no intellectual challenge, no strategic support, why are they there? They are dead weight. When we say someone is meant for you in a Robert Greene sense, we mean they possess capability, strength, the ability to face chaos and pressure without collapsing. If you are a person of high value, or climbing toward high value, you cannot afford to be tethered to the weak. You need a second in command. You need a consort. You need an ally who operates at your frequency. These are the signs. They are subtle. They are quiet. And they will never appear in a person who is secretly plotting your downfall. Sign 1, the death of flattery. The mirror of truth. The first sign that someone is truly meant for you is that they refuse to worship you. This sounds counterintuitive. Your ego wants to be worshipped. Your ego wants the person who says, "You're right. You're perfect. You're the best." That feels good. It feels like love. It is not love. It is manipulation. Robert Greene famously warned that there is no protection against flattery except surrounding yourself with people unafraid to tell you the truth. The sycophant, the user, the fake, they will always agree with you. They validate your worst ideas because they want to keep access to you. They are afraid that if they challenge you, you will cut them off. Their agreement is a tax they pay to stay near your power. But the person meant for you respects you too much to lie to you. They look you in the eye and say, "You are wrong. You are wasting your potential. You are being emotional." That stings. It feels like an attack. But an enemy attacks you to lower your status. A true ally challenges you to raise your standard. When someone is meant for you, they act as a mirror. Not a funhouse mirror that makes you look bigger than you are, but a flawless glass that shows you the smudge on your face so you can wipe it off before you walk out into the world. They protect your reputation by correcting your behavior in private. Think about the people around you right now. Who are the ones who nod at everything you say? Mentally dismiss them. They are dangerous. They will watch you walk off a cliff just to avoid an awkward conversation. Now think about the person who argues with you not out of malice, but out of logic. The person who forces you to sharpen your arguments. The person who demands you become the version of yourself you claimed you wanted to be. That friction is not incompatibility. That is iron sharpening iron. If you find someone who is not afraid of your anger, keep them, because it means they value truth more than your temporary approval. And in a world full of liars, that is one of the rarest commodities in existence. Sign 2. They endure your shadow, the sanctuary of the dark. We all have a public face, the mask, the persona. You wear it at work. You wear it on dates. You wear it to survive. It is the smiling, competent, I have everything under control version of you. Most people only love your mask. They love the version of you that provides, entertains, and looks good beside them. But beneath that mask lies the shadow, the insecurities, the traumas, the bizarre thoughts, the moments of weakness where you want to collapse and disappear. Here is the brutal test. Drop the mask. What do? The wrong people recoil. They say, you're being too much, or why are you acting like this? They try to shame you back into the performance. Because your darkness inconveniences them. They loved the image, not the human being underneath it. But the person meant for you does not flinch. Robert Greene understood that human nature is flawed, chaotic, and filled with darkness. A true strategic partner is not searching for perfection. They are searching for someone they can go to war beside. When you show them your shadow, your anger, your fear, your coldness, they do not run. They observe. They step closer. They look at your demons and they nod as if to say, I recognize these. I have them too. This is the concept of therapeutic darkness. It is the safety found in the basement, not the balcony. If you can sit in a room with someone and tell them your darkest, most intrusive thought, the kind of thought that would get you judged or condemned by society, and they simply look at you with understanding, you have found something rare. You have found a sanctuary. Do not mistake this for trauma bonding. Trauma bonding is when two people use each other's wounds to remain trapped. This is different. This is shadow integration. It is the ability to say, I see the monster in you and I am not afraid because I know how to aim that monster at our enemies. If they try to fix you immediately, they are arrogant. If they judge you, they are weak. But if they accept the shadow and help you channel it, that is an alliance. That is power. Sign 3. The silence is heavy. Operational synchronization. Language is a low bandwidth form of communication. It is clumsy. It is easily misunderstood. It is easily faked. The deepest connections do not require constant narration. Observe the dynamic you have with the people in your life. With most people, there is a frantic need to fill the silence. You talk about the weather, gossip, headlines, anything to avoid the crushing weight of quiet. Why? Because silence exposes the lack of connection. When strangers sit in silence, anxiety fills the room. But when you are with the person meant for you, the silence is not empty. It is heavy. It is full of information. You are in a room. You are working. They are reading. No words are spoken for 2 hours, yet you feel completely connected. You feel their presence like a steady force in the back of your mind. You are operating in parallel. This is what I call operational synchronization. Robert Greene observed that the strongest alliances move like a single organism. They do not require constant instruction because both people already understand the mission and the rhythm. In a relationship or a brotherhood, this manifests as non-verbal flow. You catch eyes across a crowded room, and you know exactly what they are thinking. You know they are bored. You know they see the threat. You know they are ready to leave. A micro-expression on their face communicates a paragraph of information to you. This cannot be taught. It cannot be forced. It is a biological resonance. If you constantly have to explain your feelings, your motives, or your humor to someone, they are not your person. You are speaking different languages. You are operating on different systems. The right person downloads your state of mind instantly. Think about the efficiency of that. In a crisis, you do not have time to explain. You need someone who moves when you move. Someone who hands you the tool before you ask for it. Someone who covers your blind spot without being told. If you find someone who understands your silence better than most people understand your words, never let them go. That is not just chemistry. That is telepathy born of survival. Sign 4, they do not consume your energy. The battery test. This is the simplest test, yet most people ignore it. After spending an hour with this person, how do you feel? Do you feel drained? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel like you need recovery time? Or do you feel charged? Clearer? More capable? Most people are energy parasites. They constantly demand attention, validation, advice, and emotional labor while returning nothing. They are black holes. You leave interactions with them feeling hollowed out. Robert Greene advises powerful people to protect their resources carefully. And your most limited resource is not money. It is energy. The person meant for you acts as a generator, not a drain. When you interact with them, your ideas sharpen. Your ambition expands. Your mind feels clearer. This happens because there is no friction in the interaction. You are not performing. You are not walking on eggshells. You are not filtering every sentence. The energy normally wasted managing the interaction becomes available for building your future. Pay attention to your body. Your body notices danger before your mind does. If your stomach tightens when their name appears on your phone, that is instinct screaming danger. If your breathing slows and your shoulders relax around them, that is instinct recognizing safety. In the Robert Greene worldview, you cannot conquer the world if you are fighting a war inside your own home. You need your private life to be boring so your public life can be ambitious. You need your inner circle to be a source of rest, not a source of chaos. If someone constantly brings drama, if every week there is a new crisis, a new emotional explosion, a new disaster, cut the cord. They are addicted to cortisol, and they will use you as their supplier. The right person brings peace, not the dead peace of stagnation, but the active peace of a well-oiled machine. Sign 5, strategic loyalty. The fortress. Loyalty is a word thrown around by people who have never been tested. Everyone is loyal when the sun is shining. Everyone is loyal when you are successful. Everyone is loyal when you are buying the drinks. Robert Greene was skeptical of loyalty because he understood human nature. Most people are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, and self-interested under pressure. So how do you recognize real loyalty? Real loyalty is not blind obedience. Real loyalty is shared risk. The person meant for you is the one who remains when the ship is taking on water. Not because they are weak or dependent, but because they tied their fate to yours. This is the fortress concept. When the world attacks you, do they quietly open the gate for the enemy? Or do they stand beside you and defend the walls? Watch how they speak about you when you are not in the room. You may never fully know, but you can infer it by how they speak about others to you. If they gossip about their closest friends behind their backs, understand that they are doing the same thing to you somewhere else. The strategic ally keeps your secrets sealed. They defend your name even when it becomes inconvenient. But there is an important distinction. They defend you publicly and correct you privately. If someone agrees with your enemies in public just to avoid tension, they are not loyal. They are hedging their bets. The person meant for you understands that an attack on you is an attack on the unit itself. This is tribal. This is primal. It is us against the world. If you do not feel that dynamic, then you do not have a true ally. You have an acquaintance wearing the costume of one. Sign 6, they provoke your ambition. The catalyst. There are people who are comfortable with your mediocrity. In fact, they prefer it. If you stay average, you don't threaten them. If you stay broke, you don't make them feel bad about their own finances. If you stay out of shape, they don't have to go to the gym. These people will subtly sabotage your growth. They will say things like, "Why are you working so hard? Relax, you've changed. Who do you think you are?" This is the crab bucket mentality. The person meant for you is terrified of your wasted potential. They see what you could be and they are impatient for you to become it. They don't provoke you out of cruelty. They provoke you out of vision. They are the catalyst. When you tell them a small idea, they ask, "Why not bigger?" When you want to quit, they remind you of who you are. When you win, they celebrate, but then they ask what's next. This can be exhausting if you are weak. But if you are an outlier, if you are a Robert Greene-style builder, this is oxygen. They are not just a spectator in your life. They are an active participant in your evolution. They challenge your intellect. They send you books. They send you opportunities. They push you into rooms you didn't think you belonged in. Why? Because they know that your rise is their rise. Robert Greene repeatedly explains that a powerful person who lacks wise counsel eventually destroys themselves. This means you need people around you who are strong enough to push you. If you are the smartest, strongest, most ambitious person in your room, you are in the wrong room. The person meant for you should intimidate you just a little bit. Their excellence should make you want to be better. If you look at your partner or your closest friend, and you don't feel a slight pressure to level up, you have settled. You have chosen comfort over conquest. Now, you might be looking at your life and realizing no one fits this description. Or worse, you might realize you pushed these people away because you weren't ready for the truth they brought. You might be thinking, "I found someone like this, but I lost them." Or, "I have someone like this, but how do I keep them? How do I ensure they don't outgrow me?" Finding the right person is only the first step. Securing the alliance, that is an entirely different game. That requires a level of psychological warfare against your own ego that most people cannot survive. Robert Greene didn't just explain how to spot allies. He explained how to bind them to you, how to create a bond so strong that betrayal becomes almost impossible. In the next part, I'm going to show you the final signs, the most subtle and dangerous ones, and then I am going to hand you the key to keeping them. This is where we move from observation to strategy. This is where we stop looking for signs and start building the empire. Don't go anywhere. The deepest cut is yet to come. Sign 7. The absence of microaggression. The jealousy test. Watch their eyes when you win. This is the most dangerous test of all, because it reveals the secret envy that rots most relationships from the inside out. When you announce a victory, a promotion, a new business, a physical transformation, most people will say the right words. "Congratulations. Wow, that's great. I'm happy for you." But look at the micro expressions. Is there a flash of tightness in the jaw? Do they look down before they look up? Is there a split second of coldness before the smile is plastered on? Or do they immediately pivot the conversation back to themselves? "Oh, that's amazing. It reminds me of when I..." Cool, but be careful. You know the economy is crashing, right? These are microaggressions. They are tiny daggers. They are the subconscious signaling that your rise makes them feel small. They don't want you to fail catastrophically, but they want you to stay just slightly below them. They want you to be the sidekick, not the hero. The person meant for you does not compete with you. Why? Because they are secure in their own power. They operate from a mindset of abundance, not scarcity. They understand that your victory does not steal from their plate. When you win, the right person feels a surge of adrenaline as if they won. This is a psychological concept called compersion, the opposite of jealousy. It is the ability to derive pleasure from the success of an ally. If you tell them you just made a massive breakthrough, their eyes should light up. They should lean in. They should want to know the details, not to steal them, but to savor them. If you feel like you have to dim your light around someone to avoid making them uncomfortable, you are in the presence of an enemy. You are in the presence of a parasite who feeds on your mediocrity. Robert Greene understood that people are often driven either by admiration or by fear. The jealous friend fears your growth. They fear being left behind. And eventually that fear transforms into sabotage. The ally meant for you pushes you toward the spotlight. Because they understand that when the king rises, the kingdom rises. Sign 8. The law of reciprocity, the balanced ledger. Let's talk about the economics of the soul. Every relationship is a transaction. I don't care how romantic you want to be. I don't care about unconditional love. Unconditional love is for infants and dogs. Adult relationships are conditional. They depend on mutual value. The final sign that someone is meant for you is that the ledger balances itself without you having to ask. With the wrong people, you are always the initiator. You send the text first. You plan the date. You buy the gift. You ask, "How are you?" You carry the emotional load. If you stopped rowing, the boat would stop moving. This creates a debt inside the relationship. You start feeling resentful. You start keeping score. I did this for them. Why won't they do this for me? When the person is right, the scorekeeping disappears. Why? Because the reciprocity is fluid. One week you might carry 80% of the weight because they are in crisis. The next week they carry 80% because you are exhausted. You do not need a spreadsheet to track it because you trust their intent. You know they are not trying to extract value from you. They are trying to contribute value to the unit. This is the law of equivalent exchange. If you are always the one reaching out, stop. Just stop. Watch what happens. If silence follows, you have your answer. The relationship was held together entirely by your effort. It was artificial. But if they notice the silence and move toward you, if they close the distance without being asked, that is the sign of a balanced equation. Robert Greene warned powerful people against becoming weak or easily exploited. Being used is a form of weakness. The person meant for you respects your time and your energy as much as they respect their own. They do not play childish games with your attention. They do not leave you on red for 24 hours just to prove they are busy. They value the connection, so they maintain the connection. It really is that simple. Now let's assume you have found this person. You have spotted the signs. They challenge you. They protect your shadow. They balance the ledger. How do you keep them? Most people destroy these connections because they become lazy. They think, "Oh, we are soulmates now, so I don't need to try anymore." Wrong. Entropy is the law of the universe. Disorder increases over time. Relationships decay if they are not maintained. If you want to keep a high-value ally, you must use strategy to bind them to you. You do not want them to simply like you. You want them to feel that losing you would cost them something irreplaceable. Here is how you secure the alliance. 1. Become irreplaceable. The utility strategy. Robert Greene explains that love is unstable. Emotions fluctuate, but value creates gravity. To translate this into relationship dynamics, you cannot control whether someone loves you forever, but you can control how valuable you become in their life. You must become a source of value they cannot easily replace. This is not just about money. It is about specific utility. Are you the only person who understands their complex mind? Are you the only person who can calm them down when they panic? Are you the one who organizes their chaotic thoughts? Are you the one who pushes them toward greatness? If you are just nice, you are replaceable. There are millions of nice people. But if you become the architect of their peace, or the strategist behind their ambition, you become something they cannot casually walk away from. Identify their deepest struggle, the thing they battle internally, and become the solution to that problem. 2. Create a third entity, the shared mission. Two people staring only at each other eventually grow bored. Two people staring in the same direction can walk together forever. The strongest bonds are not purely emotional. They are teleological. They are built around shared purpose. You need a third entity. You plus them equals the relationship. But you plus them plus the mission equals the empire. What are you building together? A family, a business, a philosophy, a future. Without a shared project, the relationship slowly decays into routines. Distractions, dinners, and entertainment. That is a slow death. The person meant for you wants to build something. Give them a blueprint. Tell them, we are not just dating. We are building freedom. We are not just friends. We are building power. Once there is a mission larger than both individuals, small arguments lose importance. You do not destroy an empire over dirty dishes. The mission stabilizes the bond. 3. Maintain the edge. The fear of loss. This truth makes people uncomfortable, but it is still true. A relationship without even a small fear of loss eventually becomes stagnant. I am not talking about fear of abuse. I am talking about respect. If someone becomes absolutely certain that you will never leave, no matter how poorly they treat you, eventually they stop valuing you. Human beings take guaranteed things for granted. You must maintain the edge. Keep improving yourself. Stay disciplined. Stay attractive. Maintain your mission outside the relationship. They need to look at you and understand that if they destroy this bond, someone else will gladly take their place. This keeps desire alive. This keeps respect alive. Robert Greene understood that respect is more durable than emotional dependency. Never allow yourself to become furniture in another person's life. Remain a prize. Remain someone who must still be earned. We have spent this entire time talking about how to find the right person, but now we need to turn the mirror around. If the perfect Robert Greene-style partner walked into your life today, would they recognize you as an equal, or would they see a child? Would they see someone emotionally reactive, someone lazy, someone drowning in debt, chaos, and drama? You attract what you are, not what you want. If you want a king, you cannot be a court jester. If you want a queen, you cannot be a peasant. The reason you haven't found them yet might not be because they don't exist. It might be because you are invisible to them. High-value people have filters. They ignore noise. They ignore complainers. They ignore victims. If you constantly broadcast how disloyal everyone is and how unfair life feels, you are broadcasting weakness. The person meant for you is not searching for another victim. They are searching for a victor. So before you go hunting for this mythical connection, build the fortress within yourself. Kill your own neediness. Master your emotions. Build your mission. When you do this, something strange happens. You stop chasing, and when you stop chasing, you start attracting the exact signs I listed. You must embody them first. Stop flattering people. Learn to endure their shadow. Become the battery charger. Become the vault. Become the person you are searching for. And then, inevitably, undeniably, they will appear. Not through magic, but through resonance. Finding the person meant for you is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of the war. Life is difficult. It is tragic. It is unfair. Walking through it alone is possible. Robert Greene has often described isolation as powerful but cold. To find another human consciousness operating at your frequency is one of the greatest strategic advantages you can possess. It transforms survival into empire building. But remember this final warning. These people are rare. They are outliers. You may only meet 2 or 3 in your entire lifetime. If you find one, do not let your ego destroy the connection. Do not let pettiness poison it. Do not let laziness rot the foundation. Protect that alliance with your life. Because outside the walls of that fortress is a wilderness filled with ghosts, actors and opportunists. If you are alone right now, do not despair. Use the solitude. Sharpen your mind. Build your value. Become so formidable that when you finally cross paths with them, they stop and think, there you are. I have been looking for you. The signs will appear. The silence will speak. The empire will rise. But only if you are awake enough to recognize it. If this opened your eyes, understand this is only the surface. What I shared here is safe for the algorithm. There are deeper truths about human psychology, manipulation, and power dynamics that cannot be discussed publicly without suppression. Subscribe if you haven't. We are waiting.